many of you have to leave afterwards, so thank you. I mean, I've tried to shake everybody's hand or give everybody a hug, and I just want to thank every one of you for being here today. It means more than you know. To have the support of your community means a lot more than having. Unfortunately, it should be meaningful, but I want to thank you all for being here. It means a lot to myself and to my wife and my family.
That's why I said you make it a little messy. Good.
Did you do something?
Okay, so I was thinking, yeah, it's not going to it's
Oh, I was going to say scary movies. No, oh, okay.
I hope to be down there in a year and a half. Did you bring something
Okay, we will reconvene the Board of Works meeting. Appreciate everybody's patience on this, but we were asked to review this document that Mike presented as far as the closeout of the ticket, and we wanted to make sure that we understood it and could make a decision based off of the data. Since then, or what we were reviewing, these are all of the changes to that ticket when it came in. And I'm going to let Assistant Chief Keller kind of explain it because he knows more about the Spillman system than I do, but it has every entry that was made on this ticket from August 6th to August the 10th. So, Rick, if you want to explain that. Sorry we don't have a projector so you can follow along, but I think he can explain it to you, and if you have any questions, we'll answer those.
What I did, based on Officer Meeks' assertion that he cleared it as a report and somebody else went in after him and changed it to no action taken. Let me start off by saying Spillman, the CAD system, has what's called a system log, and it logs everything. It gives you the person's ID who accessed it or whatever, did whatever with the table. It gives you the computer that they used, and it gives you a date and a timestamp on when they did it. And it logs everything from performing a search to viewing a record to printing a record to modifying a record. So if there was a record of somebody changing it, like Officer Meeks asserted, it would be in here. I went to Spillman, and I also called the company itself to make sure that I understood everything correctly as we go through. I ran a search of the system log in Spillman specific to this call for service, the 15P9041. My time frame for the search on what you have in front of you is from 6 a.m. on August 6th, 2015 until 11:59 and 59 seconds p.m. on August 10th, 2015. So the span of approximately 4 or 5 days. The first 3 pages that you have are screenshots of that search. There was no other way for me to print it from Spillman so that you saw what I saw when the search came out. And then what follows, if you look at on the search screen, you can see we got record whatever of 75. So there were 75 records in the system log for Spillman, exclusive to 15P9041 from that time frame that I searched. You have each and all 75 documents in front of you. It goes through, for instance, you can see the very first one is where a dispatcher added the record. It goes through, we've already gone through each one. I don't know if you want to go through each one of these individually to that or skip through and let you review it. But you can see that we've got the dispatcher adding the record. The very second page is the record being modified, and it tells what was being modified. You've got records in here where officers view it in mobile, and you even have some that say search performed or involved record view. If you go through here until you get to the timestamp on 8:10, well, first let me start with when I printed it, because that question was brought up. The first time I printed this case, which is not the one you have in front of you, was on August 6th at 9:50 in the morning. You can see on this list, I'm in there, the timestamp is 9:50 and 57 seconds. That's when I printed it from my desktop in my office. On that one, that was the one that I took back to the detectives to try to figure out what was going on, and I took notes on it and so forth to try to get the ball rolling. I again printed it, the one with the timestamp 11:11 and 49 seconds on August 6, 2015. That was the one that I printed that you have copies of, with the date 8/6 in the bottom. If you go through each and every one of these records, you will see on the record timestamp 8:33 and 50 seconds on August 10th, 2015, you will see where I went in and modified the record. At the bottom of that record, you'll see a table called lwmain.c code. And you can see that I changed it from NAT, no action taken, to report, RPT. Prior to that, in each and every one of these documents, you will not see where that code had been changed prior, like Officer Meeks asserted that a dispatcher did. Had Officer Meeks cleared it, report, and a dispatcher went in after him and changed it to no action taken, there would be a record like this showing that change. And there is none. So there is no doubt in my mind that this call was originally cleared, no action taken.
Can I speak? I know you don't want to. I am the dispatcher, and I did clear it because the second person went out, didn't do anything. They didn't find anybody. I am the dispatcher.
That was when
I cleared no action taken.
There's no record of ever being report and ever being changed back to no action taken. And I called Spillman to make sure that this contains everything and the system log contains it all.
But a live person with an honest job speaks volumes, so that is something to think about. She actually is hearing it.
It would be recorded if she had changed the clearance code.
I don't have access to
It would be
It
recorded.
clearance code. After it's been reopened, I can't see what Mike Meeks cleared it as.
If you had changed the clearance code, it would have been logged.
Mayor, can I speak?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sorry. Go.
But that shows, and I included all 75 just so you got a complete picture of everything. I was on the phone with Spillman themselves, going through everything to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then if you look at the documents that Officer Meeks gave you, the workflow that he shows, you'll see that there's two inputs on the second page that he had. The first input is because he did a supplement in mobile. When we first set up Spillman, it was set up so that regardless, if you did a supplement in mobile, we wanted to at the very least, check it for spelling and grammar before it's stored for eternity. That's why your options for that workflow for a supplement do not include detectives. Your options are pretty well set. You can always manually change it to a person. But for the groups, which I gave you a copy of what the options are for that one there. And then right above it, you see the input with Mike Stuber, where he assigned it to himself. That's the actual case. And following the paperwork that he gave you, I don't have a copy of it in front of me, but it shows where Mike Stuber assigned it to himself. Then once it got to the point, I believe it was on August 12th, if my memory serves me right.
That's correct.
On August 12th, Mike Meeks was able to file the charges, and
Mike Stuber.
Mike Stuber, excuse me. And he forwarded it to Records. Records' job is to review it to make sure that the UCR code is correct and any other abnormalities before it is closed. That's the call for service. The one that Mike Meeks had generated was the supplement. And if you look at the third page of what Officer Meeks submitted to you, you'll see at the top where it says the table LW supplement, showing that was his supplement only, not the call for service.
Assistant Chief, as far as the second page goes, though, when you speak of that right there, then why, if I cleared it as no action taken, then why
That's
would
your supplement.
Okay, that is my supplement. But why would it ask me then to forward that on if I cleared it as a no action taken?
That's not the call for service. That's just your supplement.
Okay.
And the idea behind that was so that we didn't have reports, which obviously it doesn't work based on that other report that you guys reviewed. The idea behind it was that we didn't want to have reports sitting in storage with spelling and grammar errors or things like that just sitting there. That was why we set it up that way, so that supplements would be hopefully reviewed and corrected before it got stored for eternity or however long we keep spilling.
But am I incorrect in saying then that I cleared this call at 6:55 at the scene?
That's your supplement.
Okay. But no, I cleared off the computer there at 6:55. At 6:55. At 7:14 is when I cleared the supplement, correct? I mean, based on the things I have, I know your paperwork
Can I
is
see
something
your
different. but-
packet? This one.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
So are you saying then that I completed the supplement on my mobile data computer then? Because I did. I came back to the police department and typed out my supplement there.
Originally, it shows, well, your supplement is what got forwarded to that workflow.
Correct.
The call itself was never workflowed by you.
Okay, but the supplement...
That workflow that you're showing me is for your supplement, to workflow your supplement in before it gets stored. It's not to workflow the call in to be investigated and whatever comes with that.
But would the supplement have gone on to Lieutenant Sofianis?
Your choices for the supplement,
And then on to
the groups that would have came on, 2 supervisors, and then the supervisor has the choice to reject it. If the supervisor does not reject it, it goes to final admin review. If the supervisor final supervisor review, you might want to review it again, and then it goes to completed. There's nothing in that flow for detectives. This isn't the call, this is just the supplement. The call, you have the option for supervisor review. Of course, they can reject it. Further supervisor review, then to detectives to be investigated, then a final admin review, then to records to check the UCR code before it's completed. So these are the options for your supplement, and that was intended to keep the storage of reports without all the grammar and spelling errors, which...
But I'll agree with you 100% on what you just said there. But on my supplement, as you're showing up here, I can send it to a supervisor, right? That's an option I have.
Your supplement, yes.
And that's what I did.
Your supplement, yes, not the call for service.
Right, and I can't
And
disagree.
that has nothing to do with the clearance code on the call.
Okay. I have a dispatch record that tells me she's the one that cleared it in that manner. I can't dispute what you have there. I just can't. But
All I can say is that the system log logs everything, and there's no record of her changing it from report to no action taken.
Because when, can I
There's no record of it.
Mark, can I speak, please? Because when it gets reopened, gets assigned to whoever's out running it around, right? And when I go to close it, it is assigned to, I think, Steve Hoover at that point in time. I haven't seen any of this that you guys are looking at, just for the record. I have, when the call is closed, he said, change this out to Mike Meeks' unit. So I had to do an exchange unit. EU, close Stuber out is, or not Stuber, I'm sorry, Hoover out is complete, put Meeks on it, then the whole call has to be closed. Now, at this point in time, guys went out and looked again. If I recall, and mind you, this has been several months ago, guys, I took lots of calls. They had not found anyone. They were out looking for somebody with a red jersey. They hadn't found anyone, so I closed
Day
out.
shift?
I closed
Or
out.
third shift?
No action taken. Because I don't have the option to close it. I don't have all the options you guys have to close it. I can't close it domestic violence and that. If I can, I've never seen it. So I closed it, no action taken. I'm standing here telling you, board, that I did this. I didn't mean to. I didn't know that it was going to be... I didn't know that it would be effective like that. But Mike is saying he's got proof that it went on to Dan. Dan forwarded it to the detectives. You guys have not disputed that. It got
The
there.
supplement was, and I can't, all I can say is that by the system log, the first time it was changed from no action taken to report was when I did it, on the 10th. Prior to that, it was cleared, no action taken. And there's no record of anybody, if Mike cleared it as a report, and then you opened it back up and changed it from what he already
There's
put,
no record of me reopening the call?
only on the radio log. But it doesn't have you modifying anything. And if Mike had changed it, if Mike had originally cleared it, report, and then you modified it from report to anything else, according to Spillman, it would show up on this log.
Can you please pull Spillman up so I can show you this? When I reopen it, it doesn't show how it was closed before. I don't see that at all. It's not there. I didn't have to go down and change report to no action taken. That little box that you put the NAT or the RPT in is empty, Rick. Please pull it up. I will
So
show
you
everybody
didn't change it then, right?
No, the second time. The first time he closed it out. I didn't close it out.
Okay, but the second time you just said it was empty, so you didn't change anything.
I put no action taken in it.
You just said you didn't change anything.
No, I didn't. I said nothing like that. I said the box was empty. Will you please pull
Why don't you just pull it up? Pull it up.
I've got the log from 6 a.m. until the 10th.
Please pull Spillman up.
Can you pull it up?
And if Mike had cleared it report originally, and it was changed to anything, it'll be in this
This is it.
system log.
But Assistant Chief, when I clear it with, if I clear it with no action taken, it's not going to prompt me to
For
give
your
more
supplement,
input.
it sure would.
Right, if I
That's
cleared
for
it
your
no action
supplement.
taken?
For your supplement, yes.
If I clear it no action taken,
Because
it's going to tell me to
it's a
update it?
different type of workflow for your supplement.
That's
I
not,
showed you the differences.
that's not true. I mean, I've got
that
an
is
officer
true.
out here saying that's not true. That's not the way it happens. When I clear it with report, it's going to give me this prompt. If I clear it with no action taken, it just goes off into
If you have a
following.
supplement, that automatically generated workflow was for your supplement. It wasn't for the call for service.
Okay, I'll give you that. It was for the supplement, right?
Right.
Okay. So my
Not the call
supplement
for service. The call
okay.
for service can be cleared whatever. That's for your supplement. You got a supplement that needs to be reviewed.
Okay. Good enough. Okay, thank you. I've got a supplement that needs reviewed. So I go in, I review the supplement, I type up my supplement, and I forward it on to the supervisor that I'm supposed to forward it on to. It shows right here in this paperwork that I forwarded on to the proper channels. You know, this does not generate the prompt. Assistant Chief Keller just said that. It doesn't generate that prompt on a no action taken. It generates that
No.
prompt.
It does,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
just
Okay.
the supplement, it doesn't matter what your clearance code is. It'll generate a workflow for that supplement.
But this
If it was
message
for the call for service, if what you had on the next page would say LW main, that would be the input for the call for service to be forwarded for detectives for investigation, and then so on for the UCR code and like what I showed you.
Okay, so, and I guess I'm going to ask board, there's several road officers out here, and I, with all due respect, Assistant Chief, you're not clearing calls on a daily basis like we are. When I clear a call with no action taken, it does not prompt me. It just says, okay, no action taken, and it goes away. It doesn't prompt me to do anything else. And I'm asking these road officers out here, am I correct in what I
supplement?
just said? When I cleared the call,
You don't get a prompt when you have a supplement.
when I when I put it in as a report.
If you clear a call, no action taken, and do a supplement on top of it, you don't get a prompt.
When in my in-car computer, if I put no action taken, I get nothing.
No, I mean, but if it's a call that not only you clear no action taken, but also include a supplement for whatever reason. If you include a supplement and clear it no action taken, you're saying you don't get a prompt?
Mike, you asked a question.
Yeah.
May I see the form that you have there?
Because that's why that page that you have on top there's two inputs. One was for your supplement. The other input was for the call that Stuber was responsible for.
Can I go maybe just a little beyond that, maybe come back to this? Ultimately, did the supplement get workflowed to Lieutenant Sofianis?
To supervisors, yes.
Okay, and is that where I'm supposed to send it to? That is where I'm supposed to
the
send it to?
supplement, yes.
The supplement got forwarded, and that's what I'm supposed to do with it, correct?
Right.
So when Lieutenant Sofianis, so I did my job.
Yes.
I sent it to where I'm supposed to send it. Am I correct? I sent it
Your
to my boss.
supplement, yes,
Okay,
not the
but
call for service.
But I did send that supplement, and the supplement contains what? The instruments or the what's going on with the crime,
Your
right?
narrative.
It includes my narrative,
Which was not accurate and complete because you left out your conversation with the daughter.
Okay, but I think, but
And
that's
added it at your request later.
right because I still feel that her statement's irrelevant in this case. It doesn't help and it doesn't hurt this case.
Well,
But I guess-
your verbal report was that there was doubt as to whether the incident even occurred, and it was based on that phone call with the daughter, so I think it was pretty relevant.
But I agree with you there. But also, did I not go and tell an officer you might want to go search? So
And you also minimized it, telling that officer that you're not sure that it happened.
But did it ultimately? Did my conversation? Did it stop the case, or did it allow the case to proceed and ultimately end up in
I
an
think
arrest?
your verbal conversation with the detectives minimized it.
Does an officer have?
And delayed it.
That's not what we're
You asked my opinion.
That's not what we're
That's what, yeah, that's not even what we're here for.
I guess I agree with what they're saying, gentlemen. And Assistant Chief Keller, I think just agreed with me here. I completed my report the way I was supposed to complete it. I forwarded it on to the detectives or to my supervisor, which was ultimately what I was supposed to do. It was the supplement. It may not have been the full card. It may not have been the full call, which would have included names and such like that. But the supplement, it told the detectives, here you go. This is going on. This is what happened. Did I have the daughter's statement in there? No, I did not. And I think I've explained why. I want to have compassion for the family because of that. The daughter's statement did nothing to help the case, nothing to hurt the case. I agree with Assistant Chief Keller. I said to them, it may have happened, it may not have happened, but any crime may have happened or may not have happened. But I told everybody there, this is what's going on. And then I forward that on to my proper channels, and I tell other officers, go look. If I'm not thinking it truly happened, I'm just going to drop it. I'm not going to say anything. And I'm not even going to type up a report on it because I would think it was a bogus call. But I did the proper channels. I forwarded on to the proper channels, and I spoke to the officers as I'm supposed to every morning and tell them what's going on. So if I don't say those things to, especially Officer Pittner, if I don't say those things to him and stop him outside and say, you might want to go look because I feel this is legit, this crime doesn't get solved. I'm sorry, the crime doesn't get solved maybe in a timely manner. It may still have ultimately been solved, but I feel like I did what I needed to do here. And Tammy, thank you, and I apologize that you're in this position and you did nothing wrong. But I have a live witness right here that says that she cleared it that way.
What happened that day was Officer Pittner and I went to several houses looking for the suspect. At one point we were ordered to go back out and look for him again. When we went out, we said we're out, referenced the robbery call. Apparently it got assigned to me because when I came back in to do my supplement, I saw that the call was now assigned to me. I called her and said, I'm not the responsible officer, Officer Meeks is, and she did whatever she did.
Exchanged the unit
Also on
and I closed it.
calls where you put in no action taken. I can give you, for instance, what happened to me a few days ago. Went to a house looking for somebody that was wanted, knocked on the door, got no answer, turned around and left. I only have certain options that I can pick to close that call out. There is no option that says no answer at the door. I pick no action taken. I still have to supplement that call. Every call has to be supplemented. So then I go in and I supplement. At no point in time do I workflow that anywhere. It just goes away. So
If I could also just maybe, thank you, Steve. If I could also piggyback on that. I mean, I even told you that I went in and I would beg even Assistant Chief Keller to run this report. But I asked Captain Venipal to run from May 1st to the day that I spoke to the two chiefs here. Please run that and see if I ever clear a call with no action taken, ever. And there were two, and they both were cleared no action taken by a dispatcher. I don't clear calls no action taken. You heard on the audio, I agree with Assistant Chief Keller. We don't clear calls no action taken when we take action. The only time I think I'd ever clear that is if I was told to go to 310 Blackhawk and unlock a car, but on the way there I was told to not go. That's a no action taken. I started there, but I didn't do anything. That would be a no action taken. But to think that I'm going to take this kind of serious crime and call it a no action taken, I think is silly, especially for someone who has 21 years on and fairly experienced in what he does.
Anything else?
Thank you, Mayor.
Can you answer a question for me? Just looking at this, this is whatever Mike gave me. I don't know if you have the same thing or not.
I don't have it in front of me now.
This is my only confusion. So it's 6:55, and this is on the approval history, right? So it's 6:55:02. It tells from computer automated dispatching, which can come from one of only 4 ways that we clear it, correct? Sends Mike a message saying, hey, you've
If
got...
it's the call, the supplement will automatically.
Okay, so that's my point. If we look at the radio log from all the times, from all the officers that were there, right? So we can see that Mike was dispatched at 6:15 that morning. We can see that Mike arrived at 6:18 that morning. We go up here, and it shows that at 6:55 a.m. he completed the call. And by looking here, we can tell that he cleared the call through the computer, correct?
That would be
That's
the
at
supplement
6
automatically generating it.
At 6:55:02, which is what the time that the computer automated dispatching sent him that, correct?
Right.
How would he have done a supplement that quickly to generate that?
Let me find something.
Because there's a
No,
call for service.
the CAD will generate it. When
Correct.
when he closes his supplement, the CAD will automatically, the next time it refreshes, however many seconds that is, it'll send you an email saying, hey, you've got this supplement that needs to be looked at.
Well, in this case,
Let me find one thing.
there was no time
that kind of goes along with
I
it.
also, just to maybe piggyback on what Officer Feller's saying, is that I don't do supplements hardly ever on my computer in the car because I can't stand typing on that keyboard.
So if he cleared the call at 6:55,
Well, there's also a record right here that shows Mike Meeks at 7:13 and 47 seconds on the 6th, modified the record by
Correct.
changing the time from 6:55 to 7:13. The 6:55:02.
so what would that mean?
It was changed to that time.
So are you
He
in the...
modified it at that time.
Correct. I wouldn't dispute
change the
that.
time. I didn't change the
And that
time.
time's documented in the form that he had. That's all documented there.
And if you
So-
go,
so
and
my
if you go
question-
through his page,
Right, so I'm saying from my experience, and only my experience, I just did this the other night when I did a case report for the stolen vehicle the chief brought up. As soon as I cleared that call, and I cleared it with a report, I got the computer automated
CAD,
dispatch
yes.
notification saying, hey, Matt,
Right.
you need to do your report and you need to workflow
your
this.
supplement. Yep.
And in the workflow, I didn't do a supplement. I didn't do a lick of paperwork.
Right.
It
Because you
just
cleared
says...
the call that. Now,
Exactly.
Now, if you
That's
clear
my
a call,
point. But if I cleared it, no action taken, I would never get that notification from the computer, period.
and
It would say input
have you
if I
ever
did
put
a
a
supplement
supplement if you?
after the fact, but it would it not? I can't do my paperwork as I'm clearing the call.
I agree with what you're just saying right there, Chief, is that you're right. At 6:55, when I cleared the call, it tells me at 6:55.
Yeah, your supplement
at
needs something done with
6:55,
it.
My supplement, but you just said that if I cleared with no action taken, it wouldn't give me this prompt until I started to do a supplement.
No, your supplement. If you had a supplement in there, it would tell you need to do something with it.
But I didn't have a supplement. I only cleared the call. with
According to
the
it,
report.
you did. I can only go by what this generates. I wasn't there. I wasn't sitting over your shoulder to see. I can only look at the system log that Spillman has, and they log everything. I wasn't sitting with Tammy when she was in Central. I can't speak for anything that she said. All I can say is that the first time there's a record of it being changed from no action taken to report was when I was there. and there's no record of it being changed from report to no action taken, like you assert it happened. There's no record of it.
I'm not asserting it did happen, but thank you.
I would just like to ask the board to consider that I told you. I just fessed up. I just fessed up to a mistake, or I didn't know it was a mistake because I didn't know how he closed it because I can't see that. But I just fessed up to you, and I would like you to take that into consideration because I made a fool of myself in front of a whole room of people.
Let me ask you something. You say you changed the report and you used the same Spillman system,
I
right?
use the Spillman system. I don't have the access to the same screens that they have in the in-car.
Okay, but I mean, it's the same system. So if something is changed, and that's what we were reviewing for the last few hours, all these documents, what happened from the time you got the call all the way till it got changed to report. This system prints out every time somebody does something. And we never found anything where it was changed until...
What time did it show it? What time did you clear the call?
So
Mike?
can I'm sorry, just on 6:55. Can I ask you something then? Does it show there that I put no action taken? Or does it show that I put report? I mean, because if it shows everything at 6:55, it should show what I
When
cleared
the
that call
call
as.
was created by dispatch and then it's closed initially, it doesn't log like it recorded that the card was created, and then at some point you can't clear it, you can't close it without the clearance code. That's a required field.
When I'm out in the car?
Something has to be put in there.
When I'm out in the car?
That's not true.
Something has to
be.
be.
Without a clearance code, you can enter right through that. Dispatcher can.
Dispatchers, baby. We're not supposed to be able to clear it without a clearance code. So had you cleared it as a report at any time, let's say, I mean, this happened at 6:15, you finished 6, let's say at 8 o'clock you cleared it report. And then at 10 o'clock, someone else comes in and they go into that same call and they change it from report to no action taken. It's going to be in the system log.
Can I ask you?
And it's not.
You say that everything is shown in there, right? It tells me everything that it does. Please show me there where, when I left that call, I cleared it with no action taken. Because if that thing shows everything when I blink my eyes, that should show that easily.
What it shows is the first time that it was changed from no action taken was when I changed it.
But what I'm asking
that means
is
initially.
But what I'm asking is show me that I put no action taken, because that thing shows everything, gentlemen. That's what he said. It shows everything. So it should show in the first 3 pages that I cleared that as no action taken or
You were
report.
responsible for the call. You cleared the call. You said you cleared the call.
I did.
Had you cleared it report, like you say, and somebody changed that, it would be in here that person changed it. It would tell me what computer they used to do it.
But you said it shows every keystroke. It shows everything that's
I
done.
didn't say it showed every keystroke.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
It showed
sorry.
every action. It shows every action taken.
Okay, thank you. It shows every action taken. So, gentlemen, it should show how I cleared that call when I was at the scene. It should show report or no action taken. Please review, or please have Assistant Chief Keller review it and show you that.
It was no action taken. That's the way it was initially logged. No action taken.
But, sir, it wasn't. I put report. I don't use that code. But I'm asking, Assistant Chief, will you please find where I put that? You said it shows everything. Please show where it shows where I put no action taken.
It's the original, because it wasn't changed until I changed it on the 10th.
But, okay, let's see the original. Let's see where I cleared that call, because you said that shows
printed it out.
everything.
I printed it on the 6th. They have copies.
But you have the 75-page report. Show me here, please. Show me here. You said that shows everything about the report. Please show me where.
The original thing that was put in is printed on those sheets, and the date's on the bottom right corner.
I'm asking you to show me in that packet.
Right now.
The original is printed over there.
I think the question is, you gave the review board.
It wasn't modified before that.
Please show me where I cleared it.
It wasn't modified before that.
Sir, I understand. Okay, Mr. Goff, I know, sir. I know that it says that, sir. But I cleared this at 7. I cleared this at 6:55, and it gave me a prompt to do a further report. And if I clear it, no action taken. And you can ask any road officer out here. Please ask them. Please ask them. It's not gonna show. It's not gonna generate me a prompt to do a supplement. It's not.
If you cleared it at 6:55, then how did your narrative contain the call that came in at 7:10?
there ever been any problems with stolen?
You put in your narrative.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I put in your
That's
original
something to
narrative
consider.
that a call came in at 7:10. I don't remember the specifics of it.
I
But
explained
if
that
you
way.
cleared it at 6:55, how did that get in there? Because you changed the time to 7:13.
So I explained that to you. Right here. I completed my report at 7:14. So at 7:10, I'm typing my report and I hear this come on my radio. Okay, hey, I'm going to type that in too. It doesn't, and you, as you saw, it's the last line of my
Right,
report.
that's your supplement.
It says right, I know.
It's a supplement.
That's what is in the supplement. That's what you had. It's showing in my supplement that it's 7:10. You're right. It shows supplement, and in my supplement at 7:10, I'm typing this, and at 7:14, I'm done. I don't understand how it can't be more understandable.
Mr. Walker. All right. I just got one simple thing to say.
What?
I said I got one thing to say. Don't get smart, okay? I just want to talk.
I'm not getting smart. I just asked. I couldn't hear what you said. That's all.
All you guys right here, a guy's been here forever, does good work, gets an award, and then everything just starts crumbling. Just like the rest of them. They fall off like flies. Why? Because you guys want them to die. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You won't get my vote this year, buddy.
You know, that's your choice.
Mayor Walker, I have to go because I have a back injury and I can't sit any longer, but as a taxpayer and a citizen, I want to know why you as a mayor would allow that police chief and that assistant police chief to go after a 21-year veteran with an impeccable record, why you would undermine the morale of the police force when conveniently it was the 6 members who stepped down rank when you didn't want them to, and now systematically they're being put out. It's clear to everybody, there's a federal lawsuit in South Bend about this. You're costing our city money through your vendetta. It's wrong, and it's especially wrong with this man, Mike Meeks, and you and everybody here. When you go home tonight, you have your conscience to think about. To do that to a man and try to backflow it and do this and that, I'm disgusted that you're my mayor and that you're my chief and you're the assistant chief. Disgusted that when they go out on calls, their morale's down to the floor because you guys have to nitpick to make you look good because you're a man and you can't say I made a mistake, and you don't say it, Mayor Walker. You made a mistake. You have made mistakes. It's pathetic, and Rainey, you have no right to treat these men the way they do. And as a taxpayer, I'm going to do whatever it takes to expose all of you. And guess what, Mayor Walker? Your lawsuit that we now have is going to cost the city of Peru a lot of money. So you know what? Maybe suck it up and say you're sorry for all these good people who backed you all these years. And right now you have a vendetta against these 6 officers. And you do. And every one of these people that can't make eye contact with me, it's true. And let me just say, I'm disgusted as a taxpayer, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I have to go.
Amen. Mayor, if I could, I think it's probably time to end this. I don't.
Well, just to answer, I couldn't answer her. She left, but there is no vendetta here. Whatever you want to believe is your choice, but there is no vendetta. We have things that come before us that is a violation of policy, and it is our job as a board to hear both sides and get to the bottom of it. That's all we're doing. We're doing what the matrix says and what the SOPs say. That's all we're doing. You can laugh all you want. But
I am
that's
laughing.
Well, you know what?
And I'll see you up in South Bend, too,
Whatever. That's your choice.
along with your puppets.
Why did we not have any trouble all these years?
Never had trouble
This
here.
man comes and
We don't want to get into that.
we're laughing, stop.
We don't want to go there.
Get into that.
We don't want to go there.
If somebody told him no.
No, you're wrong. No. Anyway, the board, I think, heard enough on this. We've spent a lot of time on it, and you've got the information that has been given to you, and we've heard from the audience their opinions on this, but I think it is time to make a decision. Does anyone have any further questions, or do we have a motion to put on the floor? And the motion would be either to accept what the charges are that's been presented to us, alter them, deny them, whatever. Those are the choices that we would have. So if anyone has a motion they'd like to put on the floor for a vote.
Well, to me, with the information that we got, especially this last group of information, I don't see how something could have been changed without it being recorded by Spillman in this list, and there's nothing there that got changed.
Can I just say one more little thing, Mr. President? It doesn't matter. I don't know if it matters or not, but Assistant Chief Keller still hasn't been able to show me that I put in no action taken or reported.
Well, it was never changed, so that means you had to
But
put
he
no action.
can't even show me that I put it in there, sir.
You had a dispatcher telling you that's wrong, and you have no clue how this works, Pat. How this works, and you're going to make a decision on that. You have no clue how that works, and you have somebody that knows what they're doing is telling you it was wrong. You're a puppet, and you guys are going to do what he tells you to do.
Billy,
Sorry.
if I can bring paperwork, will you reverse this?
Shit was pre-planned. You guys made your decision before you came from upstairs.
If I can bring paperwork, will this decision be reversed?
What's your paperwork going to show?
That shows how he cleared it. That shows that I reopened it, what time I reopened it, and how I cleared it.
Okay, and understand, this is what we tried to say. We pulled this information from Spillman. Spillman does not show anything what you're saying. I'm not saying it did or didn't.
Is the column reopened?
It shows you being in there, but it doesn't
It shows you've been in there
change.
multiple times, but it doesn't say you changed it from to no action
So how
taken.
can you say that I didn't?
Again, I'm not here on any political agenda. I just point that out. So I'm here on behalf of Mike, and I'm here because I worked several years of the law enforcement, and what I did in law enforcement was IDAX and CIC, and I did for the sheriff's department for years all of their computer systems, and I trained all the officers on how to do exactly what they're talking about. So there are mistakes that happen. There are things that reports you can pull, and if you don't put in the right codes, you're not going to see everything on one report. I'm not disclaiming what you're saying. I don't see that report, so I don't know what all they're seeing. But if you're not educated on what you're looking at, then you're just going off of what he's telling you you're looking at. So I'm saying that because you're saying you haven't got to look at it. You're just going off of what he's telling you it is.
This is a printout that we're
Right.
looking at. Not him just telling us.
Right.
This is a printout.
So in all fairness, and again, I'm not here on any political agenda. I don't have anything to do with that. On all fairness, can you look at that paperwork and say that you understand it?
I can understand that this is a step-by-step printout of timestamp that
I
anytime
know
any.
how confusing and difficult that paperwork
It's not really that
probably looks.
difficult. It says, at this time, so-and-so went in there, they changed to this. It's not a big detailed report.
And I'm going to tell you, just like with IDAX and NCIC, I explained that. I'm going to sit here and tell you that I can go into the same system, and with my years of experience, and I can put in as a supervisor and the administrator on the system, which I'm sure that he is, I can put in the codes and I can put in what I want it to print up. Not saying I'm going to go in and change the data. I can pull up exactly what areas I want it to print up and provide that to you. So that document can go from 100 pages to 10 pages, depending
Now, this
on
is saying-
on the same call.
This trouble, these are just the cover sheets for all the 75 pages. This is a line by line. This ticket, give me everything from 6 o'clock in the morning all the way till August 10th, something, and I forget the exact
Did
time.
it give you?
So, but
Did it give you every time that the officer put something in?
yes,
Or did it give you every time that the
Anybody.
officer and the dispatcher put something in?
yes it did.
How do you know? Is that
Because
because
it
that's
says
what he
right
told you?
here, it has on the side of it, we have T. Heilman, and then it started, that was the first one, and then C. Craig, T. Heilman, C. Pittner, R. Richard, T. Heilman, M. Meeks, R. Richard, and it goes right down
So-
step by step.
So it shows you who, does it show you all of their activity and everything that they put in there? What I'm saying is, to make a judgment
On
on
this, it
somebody's,
does.
what I'm asking you, I'm trying to enlighten you. I'm not passing judgment.
No, I'm just trying to answer your question.
I'm trying to enlighten you that to pass judgment on somebody without actually understanding that completely on how that paperwork works, I'm explaining why her information is not on there. I'm explaining why his complete information is not on there. to pass judgment on his disciplinary, I don't think is fair unless you had someone from Spillman right here, that for someone from Spillman that printed that out and went over it.
You called Spillman 3 times? you said?
times.
He called them, but you're talking about,
But we couldn't get him here today in this short time.
right. So I think that's unfair to pass that judgment when you have the other side saying, well, I called Spillman, this is what they said.
No, they told us this is what you can do, and this is everything. They said, you print this
So
report.
you talked to Spillman.
Did I? No.
Then you can't say what they said and what they didn't say.
I'm just letting you
Going
know.
off of the report, they told us how to pull all the details of,
So can you guys show
Created
us?
by then, but we need somebody physically here from Spillman to show, to explain this.
Well, that's not going to happen. I'm just trying to let you understand, like, that there's different ways to pull that report. And when you're saying that her information's not on there, that information can be
no,
omitted.
she's on here. It just never says that it was cleared out by her as no action taken.
Can you show us where Mike cleared it as no action taken?
Yes.
Said
It was
whatever.
originally cleared as no action.
Can you show
Can you
that?
show us?
Please show me that.
That shows
If it had been
everything.
changed
Mayor
from
just
that,
said
it would show the change, show the action.
It shows everything.
It says it shows everything else.
Every call.
Where's Mike's car?
Hold on, Skate. Hold on. When you have officers here also that use this on a daily basis, someone who's in neutral territory here, I don't vote for any of you guys, I'm in neutral territory. You have officers here that use it on a daily basis, and they're here telling you, when you insert things a certain way, their information should be there. It should tell you what action's taken. It all should tell, they're telling you that the paperwork he provided you will not pop up these certain things to tell you that.
Let me ask you this. If we got Spillman to give us a letter saying they reviewed this in their system, and it says that it was never changed from, or it was no action taken, it's never changed until Assistant Chief Keller changed it, what would you think then?
I'm telling you that if an officer.
I mean, what everybody's saying, get Spillman in here. I don't think they're going to drive down here. But if we got a letter signed from a Spillman representative who helped put this system together and says that they have reviewed this and here's what it never
I
showed.
think you would be surprised at what you found out.
Would you accept that? Or would we say, yeah, but?
No, I would accept that. Because I'm telling you, I was a dispatcher for years before I did all that other part, and there's no way that an officer can end his shift and end a call without that being on that paperwork somehow. And then for a call to be ended, there has to be some kind of action on that call.
Right now,
And then for a dispatcher to go in and open that call and then do that call, there has to be another action on that call. So there's somewhere in between that gap from the time those calls were opened and closed and opened and closed, before he saw it and changed it, there has to be several actions on that call. And I'm not seeing the paperwork from what I'm hearing. I'm an educated person. What I'm hearing is there's a gap. And no matter what that gap is, you can't have, just because it's the same action, doesn't mean that that gap is left empty, because the same action until you change the end result, doesn't mean that there's left blank. So what I'm understanding is because it's no action taken, that every time that call was opened and closed, it left it as no action taken until you decided to change it and put it into the proper action or whatever, a report. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Well, let me just say this. On the data that we have here, if this is not a good source of information, then I think we spend a heck of a lot of money on a system that's doing us no good.
I think that
Because it should, if we have a system that we can't pull up and say, okay, what happened on this day? Just like our police officers get information from different sources. Are we going to say, yeah, but maybe somebody didn't do this and be questioning everything? If this data cannot be trusted, then I kind of wonder why we bought a Spillman system.
I'm not saying that your data can't be trusted. I'm saying that there's a bazillion ways to pull up the data that you want, and you have to know exactly how you want your data to pull it up to be reading it correctly, or you're not going to get the correct data that you're.
Okay, we'll take one more question and then we got to move on.
May I have a file of data? Can I have your, Officer Keller? Sorry, Assistant Chief Keller? Provide it to you, the whole stuff?
This is just the cover sheet there, Tammy.
Can I have the rest of it, though?
You
Where
want
it shows every action?
You want to take it with you? Or?
No, I want to look at it for, 2 or 3 minutes. I just want to see what's missing.
Could you stay here with it? please?
Absolutely, I can stay.
Can I just reiterate that question that I don't think has been answered, and that is, Assistant Chief Keller, should that packet not show that I either put no action taken or report at the time that I cleared the call?
It only shows actions after it showed the action that it was created, and then it shows any changes or when they view it, things like that. When I was on the phone with Spillman, I asked them about the timestamp where it shows I changed it from no action taken to report. And I asked them, I said, is there any way that it was something else before then and not in this log? They said, no, that log logs everything.
I think you'd be interested if you did a call today as a test call.
If you had a cleared report and somebody changed it, anybody changed it, it would be in the system log.
But just to answer my question,
Why is Jessica Brooks on it?
I have no idea. She's there though.
So could we get that letter to...
It's up to the board. I can't make that decision.
Here's a question. Even if this did happen for something just as simple as this 21 years of experience like he has and everything that he's done to this community, do you not think this punishment is too harsh? Maybe not to pull in and say, hey, you did this incorrectly, let's fix this and make sure this doesn't happen again?
They have a right to correct that to the board.
Let me say
You
this.
don't think this punishment is too harsh?
Let me say this. Let me say this about this offense we're talking about. We spent an awful lot of time on it. This is a Class A offense. Failure to complete an investigation in the proper manner. Had that been the only thing we were talking about today, remember we had 3 other things. Had that been the only thing we were talking about today, we would have probably ended up, if we had found Officer Meeks to have been guilty of not completing the investigation in a proper manner, would have been a corrective action. That's the presumptive action. It would have been your first offense. And the presumptive action there would be a corrective action, which would be Chief talking to, Assistant Chief talking to you about it and saying we shouldn't let this happen again. Now we've got a lot of other things here on the table. And as far as we're talking about this first offense, we're spending all the time on that, and we think this whole thing, the reason he got his 5 days, 3 days suspension is just because of this. That's not true. It's a lot of other things.
I agree with Mr. Collins, but also it also took the level that I had and bumped it up even for 2 days of suspension.
Because this was your first offense. And had that been the only offense, then corrective action on their parts, and this would all be over with. We wouldn't be here talking about this. And the corrective action that I see is Officer Meeks, it looks like, it appears, this was an attempt at a violent crime. Now to me, a knife, a butcher knife, a forcing entry, that is a violent crime, and that should be taken with the utmost seriousness. And it looks like that as the morning progressed, it was nonchalant. It wasn't a high priority. It was just kind of sitting here, and then finally some officer said, maybe we better look at this.
Because of what I told him, sir. Because of what I told him. Because I told Officer Pittner.
This is decidedly missing a whole lot of
I
information.
would have told Officer Pittner, then I agreed with you. It wouldn't lay dormant. But I told him, and I sent them off to go look.
But it took Assistant Chief Keller to come in.
2 hours later.
At 10 o'clock or whatever time it was that you came in, it took him to come in to finally get the ball rolling. And we've got
That's his job.
We've got a
That's what he's supposed to do every morning.
Sir, at 7:14, though, I tell Officer Pittner to go look. I didn't just let it lay dormant. I told him this is a serious thing, and he and other officers went out.
But you also told him, Mike, he also told him that this might not even have happened.
Sure,
Yeah,
I can't deny that.
Yeah.
I will not deny that.
This might not even have happened. So doesn't that kind of say to everybody that's involved, well, okay, crazy woman, probably didn't happen.
No, because they went and furthered the investigation
I don't think
on it.
anybody used the word crazy
Okay.
until just now.
Tammy's, what was your finding, Tammy?
My finding was on that there's decidedly more information in that system that you can acquire. I don't know how, but I've seen it. And those reports are not, they don't say what he did. It says he did modify something, but it doesn't say line for line what he modified. And Rich said every keystroke, Mr. Chief Keller, said every keystroke is recorded. So
that could be just a modification.
No, it says on there, it
We
says,
do know when it was modified.
it
Is that
says
just a
we
modification
reviewed,
report
it'll
or
say, reviewed the document, changed a
Did a search.
document. They changed who the
Now,
officer
if
in
you think
charge
about that, reviewed the
was.
document, and changed those could be modifications. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, and I'm just telling you so that it doesn't come up later that it was just a modification report. If it's a review document or changed or
This particular document was tagged "no action taken" from the beginning,
I need
and was not
that.
changed. No,
I'm telling you that, sir.
but it was not changed. It was not changed until
Show us that.
Assistant Chief Keller.
Right.
Because he's
That would be
Mr. Goff.
Hold on a
We got
second.
people with 10, 20, 30
Yeah.
years of experience here in dispatch.
If
Why
you
don't you give them a chance to talk?
If you don't have the original, if you don't have the original officer's timestamps on there, then that's probably a modification report. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. All those things, anything after the original times on those calls, all of those, everything after that would be modifications. So if you pull just a modification report, everything after the original times on that call would be modifications. Every time stamp, every time someone opened it, from every department that has access to that, would be modifications. Everything except for the initial officer's timestamps. Everything after that would be modifications.
You work for Spillman? Have you been trained? Have you been
Do
trained by
you-
Spillman?
somebody in who
No, but I'm offering you information because I probably have more knowledge on that
Than you.
I've gotten information from Assistant Chief Keller, who has been trained in Spillman,
Right.
who has been on the phone with them today trying to get clarification on these reports that we've been shown, where nothing was changed until he did it. I mean, to me, that's
Sir, I'm not denying
that's pretty good
And
documentation.
I'm not denying that those aren't the change reports. I'm letting you know that all of those could possibly be modified reports. Those are the modification reports. A modification report is going to show you everything but the initial timestamps.
They would be logged as modifications if they were modified.
On a modification report, it's going to show you everything but the initial times.
That's Bruce thing.
Make a motion to that effect.
What to have?
Then come back, but we're not going to have a public meeting. Between the board.
I would think on anything else, if you can't decide on something, if there's a shadow of a doubt on something, I don't know how you
Could you do that though? Bill's not here to tell us. We can just
complete
have
any
a
kind of
meeting like
determination
that.
or a sentence if you can't do it without a shadow of a doubt.
We're just going to sit down and go through it with them.
Go through it with them.
And I'm
Not
letting
make a
you
decision on
know,
this today?
with somebody over 10 years
I'm just saying,
experience
that's all right.
handling these kinds of situations, that I'm standing here without access because I should not have access to read that. That would not be right for me to see any of that. That I'm telling you, with my experience, I'm offering you my experience, that cannot be a complete report because it does not have his initial timestamps on it. That's what I'm letting you know. As a courtesy, before you make a decision, that cannot be a complete report.
You think this is a complete report? Assistant Chief Keller, do you think this is a complete report?
Yes.
And
Have you talked to the people
And I'm-
that
and I think
have
it's fair
developed
you're
this
asking-
software to know?
I called Spillman, they actually did a screen share with them, where they were going through and showing me, because I wanted to know everything about the clearance code, what it was originally, when it was changed. They directed me to this report.
And I think it would be
And
fair
by
if
it
you had
saying
someone that's
that,
not
that I
involved in
changed
your
it from no action
situations
taken,
to ask
by
that.
the timestamp where I changed it from no action taken to report, it was nothing but no action taken prior to that.
So, in all fairness, you're asking the person who is in dealing with the discipline action that question. I'm not saying me.
He's our Spillman representative. He knows more about it than anyone.
Does the sheriff's department do Spillman also?
Jessica Brooks, whose name is on that report. I'm not
Okay,
sure
so
why.
in all fairness, why not check with Jessica Brooks? I'm just throwing that, she threw that name out there. Jessica Brooks or the sheriff's department, whoever else runs Spillman, maybe to have them, who's not involved in this situation, to have them contact Spillman and run a report. It's central dispatch. They all have access to the same reports, and then maybe you would have the whole complete reports.
You want to take a vote or you want to get a different report?
That's all I'm saying, just to have it fair from both sides.
You want to do that? You want to do that or not? What do you think, Bruce? You want?
Be fine with doing it. Yeah, be sure. Then we'd be sure.
Okay.
We'll take a motion.
Well, what kind of?
Yeah, I'll just make sure. Tell you what we're going to do. We will get a Spillman representative in here to sit down with you, Mike, and explain it to you and to Chief Rainey and Assistant Chief Keller, and we will just have it outside of a regular Board of Works meeting. We will sit down with you to make sure you're comfortable with it. We'll get them in so we're not violating any open door laws or anything like that. But we will get them in here to explain to you and explain to them anything that's different. And we'll have one representative from this board there so we don't violate the open door law.
May I have Jessica Brooks here as well to help me with the representation? Because I don't know Spillman like Assistant Chief Keller does or like she does. I mean, I can only pull up reports that I know how to pull up. But I think she's extremely knowledgeable, and maybe she'd be able to ask certain questions that maybe I might not think of.
Is she here today?
But she works for the Sheriff's Department. She's extremely knowledgeable.
We'll try to get them here as quickly as possible.
Okay, sir.
And we will get this thing so everybody understands. First and foremost, we're not on a witch hunt against you, Mike. You know that. But we will give you the benefit of the doubt if you think this data is fraud, and understand that if they come in and say, no, that's exactly what it says, we can't keep asking more people.
I don't think it's necessarily flawed, but I agree with what Beth has said. I think that it's kind of like, okay, I want you to search for this field, this field, this field, and this field, but I'm not asking you to search this field. I think it's search for certain
But
fields.
you're going to agree that whatever this person tells us, you're going to agree. Say, okay, we can't go any further.
I think that's more than fair.
But we'll get them in and we'll sit down with you, and you can have Jessica, and we'll have a member of this board and Assistant Chief and Chief be sitting there as well.
I think that's fair. Thank you.
And then we'll give our decision at that board meeting after that.
Is that just for that certain charge? I mean, can we talk about the other three today, please?
We're going to talk about. We've talked about the charges. We've went through everything. I think
We'll do all the charges at one.
Yeah, but as far as I think we've given everybody an opportunity to speak on the charges. The main thing this is going to be is just on the charge of the no action taken.
But you can't give me any indication as to where I stand with my other three charges that are against me.
I think we have to wait because it's the total. You have 4 violations here. And the totals, if one changes, then that can change as well. So we have to get a decision on this so we know what the total point is on the rest of it.
And I agree with you, Mayor. I totally agree with where you're going. I guess I just want to know from my own peace of mind, guilty or not guilty on the other three. I'm not expecting you to say, okay, we're going to uphold, we're going to amend, we're going to void this punishment. I guess I'm just asking where the board stands on those other three, just so I have peace of mind to know where it's going to go down the road.
We'll let you know.
It'll need to be made in the form of a motion, and that needs to be done whenever we can consider all of them together.
Because then you're going to have to say this is what, if one of them changes, Mike, and it changes it from 8 days to this, or if it stays the same, whatever, we're just going to make sure we get all this information, then we'll make one
I
decision.
just wish you guys could put yourselves in my shoes and understand where I'm at.
Understand, but we're just trying to make it right. If we didn't want to make it right and look at this beyond a shadow of a doubt, we wouldn't have sat up there for 3 hours going through all this stuff. We want to make sure we're doing the right decision. So, and again, I know there are those who think, we're against officers and all that. We are not. There are violations that occur just like in any job that anyone else has, and sometimes you get punished for those jobs. So it's not anything against police department or anyone else. It is simply these charges are there, and we have to act on them. That's all.
And it's a matter, Mike, of accountability.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
We're asking everybody to be accountable. Every employee, no matter the police department, fire department, doesn't make any difference. You need to be accountable for what you do.
I don't have it on recording, but I know when I can tell you when I had my first meeting with Chief Rainey, I'm almost positive one of the things I said that I agreed with what Chief Keller and Chief Kennedy did was implement a new disciplinary policy. I'm on board with the disciplinary policy, I am. But I just have some issues with Mike. So is this then going to be presented at the next Board of Works meeting then? I know we have to make the Spillman representative.
We have to find out when a Spillman representative can get here, Mike. We just have to make the phone call, and I don't know at this point.
But if it happens between now and the next Board of Works meeting, will it be on that agenda then? I'm mainly asking for these folks, but obviously also for my peace of mind. Gentlemen, just thank you. Thank you for your time. And I've got a lot of prayer about this, and just thank you for your time.
Okay. So, we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. All right, we're out.
What you want. Hi, Are you going to be there? Are you sure? Yep.
Well,
I worked